Can we just start with how did Fresh Pulls come together?
So this is Bert. Fresh Pulls kind of came together around March of last year. Um, Jesse got me back into the card community as far as grading and stuff in December. So I started looking into cards and started getting some cards pulled out of my dad's basement and such. And I knew Jeff was in the game already, and I've been in the game for a few years now. So I started to reach out to Jeff and ask Jeff some questions about cards and collecting. And he introduced me to the Instagram world and to a couple local card stores. So the month of January and February, I spent spending some money and buying cards and getting my collection up. And then probably the beginning of end of February, beginning of March, I entered like one of my first group breaks on Instagram for the most money I've ever spent on cards. And it was at that time that watching that break, and I hit a monster Kyler Murray rookie patch autograph card in that break. And the guy was just so monotone and so nonchalant when ripping the card. After I was done, I hung up the video. I hung up the Instagram. Jeff was across the table from me at a poker game. And I was like, we can do this so much better. Why am I paying this money? And so the next day, me and Jeff went out and bought a $300 box of 2019-2020 Optic NBA Cellos, and started an Instagram account. And by March 26th, we did our first group break on Instagram. And at that point, we weren't even big enough to do a full box break, which is what almost everybody does in this hobby.
We do 5 times a night now.
Yeah, which we do 5, 6, 7 times a night now. But we couldn't even fill one whole box. So we ended up doing a half a box break and a half a box break. And the people just really enjoyed watching us and watching how we do things.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because this is this world is really expansive when it comes to, not only are people actively buying and trading sports cards that are now going for a pretty penny, but you also have people online who are just infatuated. You know, they watch people unbox and reveal these cards. Did you know about at least the YouTube and that world before this?
Not as much. Jeff was definitely more into that world prior to this, watching the breaks online and stuff like that. And that's how I kind of did my market research. I started watching YouTube videos and Instagram videos to see what other breakers do, what other breakers are like. And the more and more I watched, the more and more I was just like, nah, this isn't the way it's supposed to be. This is boring to watch. We're in here spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I want to have a show with my entertainment. I just don't want to look at the cards. I can do that myself. I can order it on eBay and have a boring time by myself sitting on my couch. And we just didn't want that aspect, especially with all the money being spent into this hobby now. We really wanted to make a community out of it, make it entertaining. We have people that come on our app now and just hang out with us. We'll have 10, 15 people that aren't even buying anything, just waiting for the next guy to come in and buy something, and they're hanging out, chatting with us, talking to us, because we were all in the hospitality industry prior to this, and really learned a lot about hospitality and how to treat returning guests and how to get guests to return. And we really took all that we learned and turned it into this type of atmosphere and community. We treat everybody as if they were family when they walk through the door. We learn everybody's name on a personal level when they come into our app.
Fresh Stream is like Cheers. Everybody knows your name. The community, they welcome you. Between us and the people that are regulars in our stream, they make sure that they're saying hello to you when you come in. They're rooting you on when you're spending your money to buy packs. It is a real team atmosphere in there.
And Jesse, this is you, right?
That was Jeff.
Oh, Jeff. So, Jeff, let me ask you. So, over the course of the pandemic, how do you reach $2 million worth of sales over the past year?
We'd be lying to you if we told you that Loop wasn't very influential in making that happen. They opened up more eyes to be on Fresh Pulls at any given moment. Instagram, it got a little stagnant for us at some points, and it seemed as if we weren't going to be able to get past that point. Then Loop opened up around November of that year, and it was like perfect timing because we were really falling back. It worked out to be a happy marriage because first month we did 50,000 in sales. Second month we doubled it. Third month we doubled that. And since then, we haven't lost traction.
I bet that puts any naysaying aside immediately, right?
Yeah. And that's one thing that we've been fighting with. But this is Bert. This one thing that we've been fighting with over the last year and trying to get the money behind us. Theoretically, we could have done $5 to $10 million in sales in the last 13 months if we had the money behind us to have the inventory. The main reason to get in the storefront was to not only cement our legitimacy, but to also get distribution and wholesale connections in this hobby. And you can't do that as a breaker. You can only do that as a storefront. So we had to jump into the storefront atmosphere to be able to get these connections. Previous to this, me, Jesse, and Jeff have been once to 3 times a week. We drive around to 8 to 10 card stores from Massachusetts to New Hampshire all the way down to Connecticut and scoop up all the inventory we can scoop up just because we need it now. We couldn't wait for eBay, and that was the connections and the relationships we built through with some of these local card stores. We kept a lot of them in business by spending hundreds of thousands of dollars with them in months that they've never seen coming through their door before because a lot of these older card shops don't know about the internet, don't know about breaking, don't even want to try to learn about this stuff.
They don't know there's a clientele out there that is willing and actively spending the thousands of dollars on the boxes that they're fearful of ordering.
And so maybe Jesse can pick this up. When it comes to the store, how long has it been open in Peabody, and what's the reaction been to folks who are into this and then come across the store?
This is Jesse. The reactions have been amazing. One of my favorite things is to see people come into the shop for the first time, get excited about this new, different kind of shop, and run out and grab friends and come back with them. Everybody's running out to grab their friends because they've gone to the other local card shops that are all smaller and cluttered and don't feel very welcoming. We created a place that feels welcoming, just like we created on the app a place where everybody wants to feel comfortable hanging out and they feel like they're just hanging out with their friends, opening and talking about sports cards. We created a place that has couches and video games and TVs, and like we've made it a place where people want to come in and hang out. And like even if they're not buying cards, I think that's been one of my favorite things, whether it's the Loop app or whether it's in the store. We have people that come and just hang out. Like they're not here to spend any money this time. They're here to hang out and talk about sports and hang out with people and trade. And it's really become like a full hobby stop. Like you can buy cards here at Fresh Pulls. You can trade cards here at Fresh Pulls. We can sell your cards at Fresh Pulls on consignment. We send cards out to be graded, which is the biggest change in the hobby now. When I was a kid, when the junk wax era happened,
he's a little older than us.
Yeah, I got a couple of years on. Actually, it was the first time around. I was going to card shows with Bert's dad. So me and my uncle, we made our own cases, and like we'd go to the shops and they go to the card shows and sell cards. And like, so when cards started to come back around, I've got them all in my basement still. I called Bert and I said, Bert, go run down to your dad's basement and see what we got. We got to start sending these cards out to be graded, because now that they're grading cards, they're almost giving them an official stamp. And like when you talked about naysayers, like that's what's bringing investors to cards now, whether you see stocks or NFTs or whether it's Dogecoin, like you can't get your hands on that stuff. This is the same type of investment, but you can hold it. You can trade it. Like it has.
Cardboard is no longer a cardboard. It is an asset.
Yeah, they've become assets. So the actual investors are coming over to the hobby now. And we found a way to basically appease the investors and still have it a hobby. Like we have Donation Nation for kids. Like we have a whole shelf of cards that investors leave behind because they're not $5,000-$10,000 cards. They might just be $1, $2 cards. But kids that don't have the $200, $300 to spend on a pack that are in here with their parents, we have a whole shelf for them to go and find their favorite players and get them excited in the sport.
There's autographs, there's different parallels, there's some really nice cards in there. Kids are like, are you sure these are, they feel weird taking them because they know that there should be some value to them, but they just were donated, and we're not going to go and sell something that we already sold once and sell it again for a couple bucks. We want to, sorry, this is Bert, we want to make sure that this is somewhere that kids can come that are priced out of this hobby. It used to be a kid's hobby, and now kids are priced out. I mean, the cheapest box you can buy most of the time is $30-$40, all the way up towards of thousands of dollars. So a lot of kids are priced out, and that's one of the best things about Donation Nation is getting to see the kids' faces light up when they find their favorite card that they can't afford because it's in a $100 pack. So that's really a nice thing about what we've built here as the community we continue to talk about, because that's, again, from being in the hospitality industry our whole lives, that's one thing we always learned is make it feel welcome and make them want to return. And that's one thing that we really do is make everybody want to come back and hang out with us.
Now, is there a white buffalo in the trading sports card world, or one personal card that you guys are looking for?
Oof.
So it's the Michael Jordan rookie card. This is Jesse. That's the card that brought this all back. The Michael Jordan rookie card brought this all back. And because those are so out of touch, I actually happen to have one, but it's a PSA 1. It's in like the worst condition a graded card can be in. Like it's still got Scotch tape on it. Like it's all banged up, but it's still a $2,000-$3,000 card because it's that iconic chase card. Like everybody wants that 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card.
Is that
For
on
us,
display, or is that behind a safe somewhere?
It's on display. Yeah, no, I've got a PSA 1 collection that's out there on display. So there are cards at just about every level. Like you can find a wheelhouse for your financial level just about in any aspect of the hobby. There is something for everyone.
For us, it's for us younger guys than Jesse. It's about the superstars now. And one card that was desirable for a guy like me and Jeff was a Patty Mahomes card. Patty Mahomes was a little bit out of reach for me and Jeff when we started collecting and started getting into it. They were just super out of reach because of the caliber player he is. And we actually, at the Boston Garden Trade Show, were able to acquire the holy grail of Patty Mahomes card. We got a 1 of 5 autographed rookie Patty Mahomes. So that means that there's only 5 of these cards ever made, and we have number 1 of 5, which also correlates to his jersey number being number 15. So it's really like a holy grail Patty Mahomes card, and we were finally able to obtain one. We actually are waiting for it to be back from SGC as we speak. It got a 9.5, which is humongous. We made an $11,000 investment. It's probably going to turn into a $30,000+ investment after he goes to his next Super Bowl.
Yeah, you guys are really rocking this right now. It sounds like you guys are rolling on all cylinders.
Yeah, and that's one thing that, and that's really one thing that's been what's been most beneficial to us is all the blowback that we've been getting from people for the last year. For the last like 4 or 5 months now, since the beginning of the year, we really put together a really good advisors team, and our team has been helping us tremendously continue this growth process to where our financial advisor is now setting up an investment group, and the investment group is going to directly fund our inventory. So we're going to have a multi-million-dollar investment group back in Fresh Pill's inventory purchases, and really blow this up to the next level. We're going to go from $2 million in sales in 13 months to $10 million in sales in 20 months.
Again, that's very impressive, and I came across this story, and I want to read it to you guys and get your reaction. I'm not sure if this may have crossed your radar, but apparently Target says that they are temporarily stopping the selling of trading cards for both sports and Pokemon cards because of recent violent disputes at one of its locations. And basically, this happened in Wisconsin. A man was physically assaulted by 4 others over sports trading cards, and so they're only going to be available online, but they did mention how the value of cards have skyrocketed. Just initially hearing that story, what goes through your head? You hear about this physical altercation over cards because of again how much value has gone up.
This is Bert. So we expected something like this to be happening. So we've been in this for a year now, and in the last year obviously we live off of Route 1 and Peabody, off of Route 1, Jeff and Saugus, myself and Malden, Jesse and Revere. So when there's tons of Walmarts and Targets, obviously, one time in 14 months have we ever found a card at Walmart or Target. From the very beginning of this to now, it is impossible because everybody knows the vendor schedule. Everybody sits outside and waits for the vendor. A lot of people had side backdoor deals with the vendor. So we knew it was going to get out of hand. Anytime that somebody can get a product for $30 and sell it for $125 without even trying is going to cause a giant stir Europe. I mean, they're making $75, $80, $90 on a single box of cards. Some of them upwards of $200-$300 a box for just standing in line and walking into Walmart at the right time. And as we know, in this world with money comes greed, and those people that were out there that got greedy, and unfortunately what happened. And it's a shame, but it's probably for the best interest of the hobby. I think it'll hopefully slow down production of retail, because there's two very distinctive sets in cards. It's hobby and it's retail. Retail you can get at your local Walmart, Target, etc. Hobby you can only get from Panini, Topps, Upper Deck, that type of stuff. So it's going to be good to kind of slow down the production of retail.
This is just the tip of the Freshberg. You're going to be seeing a lot more coming very quickly.
You have to see it to believe it. Come down to 215 Newbury Street, Peabody, Massachusetts, and see it. Pictures, the videos, the Instagram videos, the YouTube videos, the TikTok videos. They don't do what we have going on justice. We kind of went viral about 3 weeks ago on TikTok, and went from 1,300 followers to now 7,300 followers in like a 2-week span. Every day we have 2-3 people coming in like from TikTok, like, wow, I wasn't expecting it to be this cool. Like, I knew you guys were doing awesome content wise. I wasn't expecting the store to be like this. So my biggest thing to everybody out there that would be listening in the hobby is come see it to believe it. Talk is cheap, but we can back it up when you're here and you see what we have going on.